How come it's easier to buy a Ferrari than a Rolex? Really, give that some thought. The first is a race car worth many thousands of dollars, and the second is a watch. You might be able to find a new Submariner or Daytona at a Rolex store, but it's more likely that you won't win. There is plenty of money, there is plenty of desire, but for some reason, there are never enough Rolex. What's going on then? Is Rolex just not able to meet customer needs? Is there something else going on behind the scenes? Let's go back. Rolex was started in 1905, but not as a symbol of wealth. Instead, it was as a precision watch brand. It slowly became a sign of wealth over the years. The reason wasn't because it was flashy, but because it was quiet, accurate, and built like a tank. But Rolex has always been different. It never tried to follow trends. Rolex did something different than other brands that filled the market with a lot of models to boost sales. It held back, and that wasn't a mistake. Rolex knows one basic truth about luxury. People want to be unique. It doesn't feel special if anyone can walk in and buy it. It wasn't possible for Rolex to increase production to meet demand, so they stopped it. Today, Rolex is thought to make about 1 million watches every year. When you hear how many people want one, that may seem like a lot. Why not make more? Since Rolex doesn't sell watches, it sells fame. Let us break this down. Luxury isn't about how it works. In the year 2025, you don't need a quartz watch. Everywhere you look, there's a phone, a smartwatch, or a dozen digital clocks. A Rolex isn't just for keeping time. You have to say who you are. And things are more valuable when they are hard to get. Lack of something makes a story. You did more than just buy a watch. You waited, built a relationship with a dealer, and earned your spot on a waiting list. The trip is an important part of the experience. Now think about how this makes you feel. Demand wouldn't go up if Rolex suddenly raised its output and let everyone get one. It would go down. Not everyone wants what everyone else has. Few people can get what they want. That's also why expensive brands like Hermes and Ferrari don't flood the market. They're not just selling goods, they're selling membership in a very exclusive club. And Rolex? It could be the most crowded club ever. But it's not all that. Rolex doesn't even say how many watches it makes in public. There are no ads that scream, "Buy now." It helps pay for things like Wimbledon and deep-sea exploration. Classy, calm, and sure of themselves. The brand screams classiness in every way. It's also better to whisper than shout because it makes you lean in. There's also the market for used things. People like Rolex watches. That doesn't happen very often with consumer goods. But because they are hard to find, have classic designs, and are associated with a famous name, some Rolex models are worth more on the secondary market than they are in stores. People want them even more now, not just as a sign, but also as an investment. But here's the genius. Rolex doesn't benefit from resale. They could ramp up supply and capture all that secondary market money for themselves, but they don't. Why? Because they're playing the long game. Rolex is owned by a private foundation, the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation, which means they don't have owners to please. No big jumps in quarterly earnings. They can focus on impact, on company power, on being forever. It doesn't matter how many watches they sell this year. It's about making sure that Rolex will still mean the same thing in 50 years. So the next time you see someone flexing a Submariner or writing about getting the call from their AD, remember this. That watch on their wrist isn't just steel and sapphire. It's communication. It's scarcity. It's strategy. And Rolex is the best at all three. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.